Hi, I'm Tracy Ann.
Hi, I'm Donna.
Hi, I'm Kenny.
Hey, I'm Gavin.
We are from Camera Obscura.
And we're Amoeba for What's in My Bag.
Shove it right down your throat. I'm gonna make it in a man's world. I'm gonna make it in a man's.
I'm gonna pick the Roaches.
I'm beginning to think that it runs in the family. Oh no!
I was first introduced to the Roaches in, I get my dates wrong all the time, but I think it was like 2005 when we made our record Let's Get Out of This Country in Stockholm. Our producer Jari Haapelainen introduced me to the Hammond song. It was just a simple sort of 3-part harmony, quite Christian sounding actually. And it's just like a beautiful acoustic song with a crazy guitar solo. It's very simple and bold and beautiful. And whenever I make compilations up for people, I always put the...
That was definitely on the first mixtape compilation you made me.
Yeah, so that's why I chose the Roaches.
I ain't the only one.
I've got 2 records here. Well, first of all, I picked up this because this is, I feel like I grew up with a lot of greatest hits albums as opposed to the records, and I love Stevie Wonder.
My Shetty, your mom, pretty little one that I adore.
One of the things I'm most grateful to my parents for is sending me to piano lessons, kind of kicking and screaming. I hated it. I did not gel well with the sort of traditional way of learning piano. And finally, my 3rd piano teacher kind of cottoned on to the fact that I was not progressing through the grade system. He was like, right, what is it you want to do? And I was like, I just want to learn how to play Stevie Wonder and write my own songs. And he embraced that. But this record, Innervisions, was the first proper album. So I'd kind of rinsed this, the greatest hits. And then this was the first full album that I listened to and was just, my mind was blown. I revisited it when I lived in London and listened to Golden Lady, I mean about 1,000 times. But I just think this record from start to finish is amazing. And I think Stevie Wonder and all the Motown crew taught me how to sing.
Touch of rain and sunshine made the flower grow into a lovely smile that's blue.
First up, we've got On the Trail by the Jimmy Heath Quintet. And I got this because I was lucky enough to see a concert featuring Al Tutti Heath, who's one of the Heath brothers, a renowned jazz drummer who happened to play on many of Nina Simone's songs. And myself and the drummer from Camera Obscura were in Manhattan at the time when he was putting the gig on, and we went along to see him, not really knowing what to expect, and it was just one of the greatest nights of music I've ever witnessed and heard in my life. So it's just good luck that I stumbled across this today, so I'm really looking forward to having a listen.
Next up for me is Doctor Who, The City of Death. I'm a massive Doctor Who fan. Never travel far without having some to hand to watch. This story is from 1979, featuring Tom Baker as the Doctor. Douglas Adams wrote this before he wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. At that time he was the kind of head script editor and kind of showrunner, I guess, for that year on Doctor Who. So it's one of the most interesting kind of stories from the kind of, when I was a kid watching it. It was great, and it was all filmed in Paris, so it's a wee bit different.
And since it has no call to be here, the art lies in the fact that it is here. Exquisite.
I don't really have a lot to say. There's nothing much to say really. I was like the Fleetwood Mac. Best band in the world.
We were looking for the Tango in the Night record because that's one that my parents had.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
And actually just a few days ago, we were geeking out backstage before our gig at Minneapolis with Terry from Photo Ops, our support act, and he was asking me if I knew what the synth sounds were on that record, and we were playing through it, and I was like, God, this was such a brilliant, lesser listened to record, I think.
It's the one that probably introduced our generation to Fleetwood Mac. On a Saturday morning, my mum would always do the housework, and I'd be woken up to the racket of noise while she was like hoovering, and the music would be over there. It was like 8 in the morning or something. You're like, God, what is that? But Fleetwood Mac was blasted a lot in the 80s in our house. Everybody's, you know, every kid remembers that. And I think actually at the time I didn't like it. And of course I love it now, and I had the pleasure of seeing the full lineup a few years ago in Glasgow, and it was the best gig I've ever been to. It was so good.
Next up we have, it's a compilation, Southern Journey, Georgia Sea Islands, Biblical Songs and Spirituals. On the tour bus we were talking about Alan Lomax and his archiving and his collections, and it began a conversation on the bus about this and about music that's available in the National Archive. And again, just by coincidence, when I was looking through, I saw this and I thought, well, this is going to be a good way in. I think in terms of, there's been a lot of conversation recently about the history and background of country and folk music and the roots of that, and I think I'm going to be having a bit of a dive into this and really looking forward to it.
The Lord God died on Calvary, and I know He's a rock in the way there, very land.
Heaven or Las Vegas by the Cocteau Twins from Grangemouth, right?
Yeah, like they come from a pretty, I don't want to be disparaging against Grangemouth. It's a pretty grey, grimy
part of Scotland with like views of really ugly industrial power plants.
Yeah, and the thought of these people coming from there and coming up with their imaginations just must have been something else.
When we met one another and we were sharing our musical tastes, Liz Fraser's voice, for me, I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing when I first heard her sing. When I was at art school, a friend had made me a mixtape and put the song Persephone, which is not on this record. And I was completely stopped in my tracks. We always talk about the voices that we hear that make us feel sick. They're so good.
The other two from New Order, and it's their first album from 1992, maybe it came out originally.
No matter what you say, no matter what I do, it all comes back to you.
I loved it at the time. I'm a massive fan of New Order and all the factory bands, and it's quite nice to be able to pick it up all remastered and sexy sounding.
No sense of reason, think it's true. Why did you have to?
Randy Newman.
Short people got no reason to live.
I just think Randy Newman's classic songwriter, big songwriter for me. I chose this record just because I've been to see him a couple of times in Glasgow. One time I went to see him in Lana Del Rey, was two rows in front of me, which is off topic, but that was quite exciting to me. Anyway, that night, my manager must have managed to get a word backstage, and I was taking some piano lessons at the time, and I was learning how to play Jolly Coppers on Parade. And Randy Newman was playing the gig, and we're sitting there, and I just hear my name coming out of his mouth, and I'm like, what did he say there? And he dedicated the song to me, but he kind of laughed because he was like, oh yeah, apparently she's learning this on the piano, but there's only 2 chords. And so he sort of made fun of me a little bit, but I don't mind.
When I'm grown, that's what I wanna be.
I don't own any Anderson Paak records, but I have watched his Tiny Desk concert so many times.
I be catching you staring, be careful, the idle mind is a dangerous place to be left in, to keep your eyes.
I think he's just brilliant. I love the stuff that he's done with Bruno Mars as well and Silk Sonic.
There's so much love we could be making. I'm talking kissing, cuddling, rose petals in the bathtub.
He's so cool. I love the Tiny Desk, and it's about time that I owned a record by him.
Can't beat it, can't beat it, can't beat it, can't beat it with the big bad dough. Can't see it with your pitch black Gucci frame.
Next up we have Jesse Sykes and the Sweet Hereafter, Oh My Girl. And again, this is just things that have happened recently. The band were playing in Portland. Somebody came along that we were introduced to after the show. It was Victor Krimenacher, who is in camper van Beethoven. And one of our early songs was heavily influenced by Take the Skinheads Bowling. So we were talking, and he's doing some shows in the future with Jesse Sykes, and he recommended her, said that she was well worth listening to, and by coincidence this album is produced by Tucker Martin, who also produced Camera Obscura's 5th album, Desire Lines. So again, it just seemed fitting to take this one away.
And their video for Take the Skinheads Bowling was filmed here when it was a bowling alley.
I don't know if you know that this building used to be a bowling alley, right? Okay, and do you know what's filmed in this building? It's the video for Take the Skinheads Bowling was filmed. We're down at that lane over there. I'm pointing, lanes aren't there anymore.
On that note, I picked up the Camper Van Beethoven box set. I've got a couple of the records at home, but not all of them. And having bumped into Victor on Saturday, it was really nice to meet him and get a wee chat with him. And it fired up my desire to hear some more of the old stuff. So, box set of them fits the bill.
So just get high while the radio's on.
Deborah Harry, who, which doesn't even look like her, but which female-fronted band person doesn't want to, you know, aspire to Deborah Harry. I love Deborah Harry, I love Blondie. Been to see her many times. In fact, I was underage getting in to see her for the first time at the Glasgow Barrowlands, which is an over 18s, and I was 17, and the guy in the door nearly didn't let me in, and I was actually nearly cried. I was like, please, 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 I won't go to the bar, I don't even drink, you know, just let me in. And I did get in.
Or another, I'm gonna see you. I wanna meet you one day, maybe next week.
This is Great Big Boy by Leo Kottke. I was introduced to Leo Kottke about 25 years ago. He is an incredible 12-string guitar player, singer, songwriter, does a lot of his own stuff, interprets other people's songs as well. He has an album called Mudlark that features an incredible cover of 8 Miles High by the Byrds. It's a really frantic version. He's quite a laid-back, sardonic. His delivery is quite deadpan. His playing is astonishing. So whenever I see an album of his that I don't have, I pick it up. So this is a new one for me.
He falls on a lamp with his face first and fries his nose on the bulb. He scratches his eye on the lamp.
We both love St. Vincent. I think she's a badass. She blows my mind.
And neither of us have listened to this record yet, so this is the new one. And I'm very much looking forward to that. I just, not that long ago, did her masterclass on Masterclass.
That's right, aye.
Very cool. We love St. Vincent.
Finally for me, I spotted this and it's a must. Massive fan of the Beastie Boys, incredible band, love all the records, and the Sabotage video in particular is always a joy to watch. So to get Sabotage era action figures of the Beasties is just tremendous. So that's coming up the road.
Thank you so much.
Very welcome, thank you.
You're very welcome.
It was a big love, she said. The kind of big love that made you easily led.
Amoeba.